But first, breaking news. The Fort Pierce city manager, Nick Mimms, arrested on criminal charges for official misconduct and bid rigging. Our team broke this story and was outside the St. Lucie County Jail when Nick Mimms posted a $10,000 bond. It was released this evening. He has made no comments since his arrest. But what exactly do these charges mean that Mimms is accused of doing? Our anchor, Megan McRoberts, is in Fort Pierce tonight to lead our team coverage tonight. And we begin with her. Megan.
Honey, so this is the result of a 2-year investigation. It is still ongoing and it's quite complex. But what we've been able to sort of simplify for all of you is that essentially Nick Mimms, the city manager, is accused of misusing his position to help a local organization, the Lincoln Park Young Professionals, win a bid to develop a part of the Lincoln Park area. The problem here, one of the problems investigators say they uncovered, is that organization was formed by 2 city employees, one of which is his niece. That is an issue. So here's what else the investigation uncovered again over the course of about 2 years, according to FDLE, that Mimms initiated the process in the first place to declare 2 vacant lots as surplus. Then he's accused of rigging the RFP process to make sure Lincoln Park Young Professionals got the lease for those lots. Then they say he controlled the bid language. He gave them non-public information and again used his influence to let Lincoln Park Young Professionals present to the city before the bid ever even went public. Investigators also again say he never disclosed that conflict of interest, again, that he had a family member who was part of the Lincoln Park Young Professionals. FDLE did not specify exactly which project this was surrounded around, but in the details that they did give to us, our Ethan Stein put the pieces together, the location, the groups involved. You notice this was a project you've already reported concerns about.
Yeah, that's because we started asking questions about these 2 vacant lots in Northwest Fort Pierce back in May. We saw that the nonprofit, that Lincoln Park Young Professionals, it does business as Rooted in Change. And those nonprofits, which are the same, have many connections to members in the city. Behind a chain link fence next to the Lincoln Theater with a bullet hole sits 2 plots of land.
They were supposed to have a community center here, and the funding has been cut off for whatever reason.
A nonprofit called Rooted in Change pitched turning the land into the Root, a place for restaurants, movie nights, and green market. To make it a reality, the city of Fort Pierce gave it a contract for $10. About 3 years later, it sits empty.
We have a site that is left unkept. It is unsafe, and it needs to be cleaned up immediately.
The contract was canceled. Why? Emails we received show the nonprofit says if it was required to do permanent bathrooms, it would have to end the project, even though permanent bathrooms are a condition in the lease.
Where's the money? So whoever got that money need to be held accountable too.
According to state records, the nonprofit's leadership contains Venice Gilmore. He's listed as the assistant city planning director on the city's website.
Do you have any idea where the money went?
Gilmore declined to answer our questions about the contract. State records also show Coletta Scott is on the nonprofit's leadership board. She is Mimms' niece. FDLE says in their release, Mimms rigged the bid for his niece. Mimms drove away from reporters outside the St. Lucie County Jail and didn't answer his door. But regardless if it is to us or a judge, Mimms will have questions to answer about his conduct. So back when we reported this story in May, we asked the city if the Venice Gilmore that we saw, if they were the same as that nonprofit. It did not confirm that news for us, so we had to do a public records request for the personnel file. Once we were able to confirm they were the same person, a city spokesperson defended the deal. They say that because it is an exchange of land and not money, that it is okay in the city's eyes. Megan?
Really interesting, great digging. Thank you so much, Ethan. So as Ethan mentioned, there is a money aspect in all this. We've been following the money. In fact, we started following this project back at its groundbreaking. That was in February of 2021. A nonprofit group, Allegheny Franciscan Ministries, gave that Root project a $500,000 grant to complete the community center. We reached out to that ministry tonight. They did not answer our request for comment, but we do know that that organization leading the project, Rooted in Change, told us it had problems with their contractor, which is why they say there has been no development. So you might also be wondering, we were wondering, well, who else was involved in this RFP process, trying to submit a bid to also have possibly the opportunity to be chosen to develop that land. We looked into that tonight, dug through some records, saying these could be the people who are essentially duped by all of this. Those records showed that a group called the Doyen Company, they're based in Stuart, They also proposed developing housing on that land and paying the city for a lease of $1,200 per year. I did reach out to that company as well tonight, but they said they cannot comment because of the ongoing investigation. But here's what Nick Mimms had to say just before that RFP bid went to the Lincoln Park Young Professionals.
And the Lincoln Park Young Professionals, the young professionals of this community came up with this idea. And it is spurred on by the Allegheny Franciscan Ministries Group as part of the Boom Grant Initiative. And we think it's a great idea.
In part here that we recognize the concern this may bring to our community and are committed to addressing the situation with transparency and seriousness that it requires. In response, the City Commission has scheduled a public meeting for Thursday for tomorrow to collectively review the matter, they say, and determine the appropriate steps moving forward. So tomorrow we are going to be keeping our eyes on any potential court hearings for Nick Mimms. We will be at that special hearing involving the county commissioners. And of course, this is going to be a case we continue to follow, Hani, because FDLE does say that this is an ongoing investigation and more arrests could be coming. Hani.